I met him at Morgan State. I got to Morgan State. I had to do summer school because I wasn't going to get in. They weren't going to let me in. But I thank God that I did get in. I got my bachelor's of admin. From there, I also went on to Morgan, to Howard University, and got my MPhil. But when I wanted to think about really quickly today is this one statement. There's one thing that changes everything. There's one thing that can change everything. Many of us have been blessed to have cars. Many of us have been blessed to have homes. Many of us have been blessed to have clothes. Many of us have been blessed to have microphones and sound. But whether you have, my man, whether you have that, can y'all hear me? Okay, there we go. All right. So one thing can change everything. But many of us, whether we have a car, try driving that car with no steering wheel. If we have a car, try driving that car with no wheels. If we have a house, try enjoying that house when it's raining with no roof. If we have a kitchen, try enjoying that kitchen without access to food. If we have food, try enjoying that food without pots and pans, because there's one thing that can change everything. And I simply wanted to share the thought of that. There's a story I heard a little while back in 1949 in western Montana. There's a group of people, I told you all I'm from Brooklyn, so I had to learn about this. They're called smoke jumpers. They were jumping into a fire to help save the surrounding community. The story goes that there were 15 smoke jumpers. And the 15 smoke jumpers jumped in front of a fire in 1949. The fire was called the Man Gulch Fire. They jumped into the fire to help block the fire from the surrounding communities. They had on their tools, they had on their utensils, the things that they need, the shovels, the things they need to be able to surround the fire, to prevent the fire from harming the community. Story goes to say that those utensils would weigh anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds each. And so now you have these men jumping into the fire, trying to maintain and contain the fire. But the story goes that the fire was much stronger than they thought. Story goes that the fire was 30 feet, flames 30 feet high. Story goes that the fire was able to run 3 or 4 football fields in seconds. Now you have these 15 men who are going in to try to help the fire, and now they're in a place where they're trying to escape the fire. One man by the name of George, it was one man, and then it was 15 other men, 14 other men, and the only answer was to try to outrun the fire. I told you a few moments ago that it was going to be tough for them to be able to outrun the fire because the fire was running faster than they had ever seen before. So as they're running to a cliff, the cliff is the only way to get out of the fire. The cliff is the only way for them to jump out of the fire, to get ahead of the fire. Dodge has this idea. Darren Dodge's idea was to start lighting fire around him. He stops and he gets matches and he starts to light the grass around him. And the grass around him he starts to light, and he's calling to the other smoke jumpers. He's telling them, hey, come this way. If you come this way, you'll be okay. They thought he was crazy. They thought it made no sense. I'll be honest. I'm from Brooklyn. I probably would have thought he was nuts too. But the truth of the matter is what happened was the story ends in a tragic way. Out of the 15 smoke jumpers, only 3 of them survived. Dodge Wagner and the 2 that were actually the most fit. The 2 that were actually the fastest, the 2 that could carry the most weight, because they made it to the cliff. But Dodge in that moment created what is now called and understand as an escape fire. Because Dodge had a thought in that moment. Dodge had a thought of one thing that changed everything. That if I burn up the grass around me, the fire will have nothing to consume. So he burned the grass around him. He wet himself with the canteen, got himself low enough, and the flames indeed jumped over him. The point of the story is that Dodge was able to think differently in a moment that saved his life. And because of what he did, it's actually saved many firefighters' lives in the years to come. The point I'm trying to make is that there is one thing that changes everything. And I love the thought of I am mentality, because for many of us, we understand that the one thing is really being able to use the mind that God has given you in the right way. Being able to use the mind that God has given you, not to see something as a danger, but to see it as potential. I told you I was born in Brooklyn. I was one of those young guys, didn't have my father, met my father 3 times in my life. But instead of somebody looking at me like I was danger, they looked at me like potential. And I love the fact that I am mentality is doing the same thing. And so my simple encouragement, I told you I wouldn't be long. I got 3 minutes and 22 seconds. I'm not even going to use all of that right now. But I want you to be encouraged because you're in the space. You're in the space. You're in the community. You're in the environment where you're a part of the one thing that can change everything. Where you're a part of the one thing that can shift how Baltimore looks. You're a part of the one thing that can shift how communities look. You're a part of the one thing that can shift not just Baltimore, but this region and this world. So I'm excited to be a part of what you're doing. I'm excited to be a part of what you stand for. But I'm more excited to see what God is going to do if we continue to focus on the one thing that changes